Welcome to another Take Back Manufacturing presentation, and let's talk about the real enemy. So, who is the real enemy of the West? Many people have at last defined the real enemy of our Western civilization. The real enemy is not diverse political views or religion or racial issues or class structures or the emergence of political correctness. Also, it's not climate change or alarmism or overextended immigration or out of control migration or even rampant inequality. These are all very important and have become a corrosive set of issues that need to be far better managed. But all of the above are almost all symptoms of a far bigger issue that is causing the strife. Now, the real enemy is globalization in all its forms. This has empowered wasteful global trade and promoted unnecessary and wasteful human migration. Now, many economists are concerned about the recent reduction in global trade via tariff management by the US government. But it's actually very good news. Now, global trade due to over-liberalization has increased 8 times since 1980, but global prosperity has only increased 3 times. So it's not much of a prosperity tool, but it's become a huge wealth transfer machine. Due to this, our Western economies lost many value-adding jobs in many sectors through labor arbitrage, and we have experienced negative transfer of wealth and capital. Also, this globalization journey has created resource waste in all forms, and is the main contributor to our global ecological problems. Using the recent leverage of the trade tariffs and new Industry 4.0 technologies, we can competitively reshore and localize manufacturing and the associated service businesses closer to our consumers, which will enable faster and more flexible response to demand and employ far less process steps and wasteful inventory. And this results in a 5 to 10-fold reduction in supply chain operating costs. These far shorter supply chains can be inherently leaner and greener with a much more effective cost and carbon footprint, and will make our future local economies and habitats far more sustainable. When we investigate the feasibility of such localized trade blocks, we find that, for example, a North American trade bloc that followed this sustainability agenda would need to import very little outside of the North American continent, and would empower the North American population to make much more of what they consume and utilize more of their local resources as much as practical. Further, increased demand for this localized effort will generate increased GDP, tax revenue, and value-adding wealth within an economy, such that interest rates can be normalized upwards to better drive recapitalization, investment, and prosperity. The application, as much as practical, of such trade bloc models on a more global basis would force all nations on the planet to better balance economic and ecological initiatives and better focus on national sustainability and the well-being of their own citizens, who will far better regulate any pollution they create in their own backyard as they extract, grow, and make and service their own economies. Globalism, in all of its forms, has proved to be a net negative benefit in so many ways, and global trade must become limited to resources or products that cannot be localized. So, global trade will continue, but only if it is a clear net benefit to both trading entities, which is far from true today. It must be a nation's right to decide who and how it trades, and we certainly don't want a multilateral approach that blinds and railroads a nation to trade for no net benefit. We need to return to a scenario where nations only trade for what they cannot produce and only trade what they produce in excess. In this way, global trade will become an option of last resort to ensure we develop far more balanced and accountable national economies, rather than the duplicitous, redundant, wasteful, and destructive free-for-all of the current overextended global trade system. So for more about our advocacy, please visit our website. Thank you for your time.